What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
It's as it's starting to record. Don't you go to the store after this?
I do. Well, store's 2 minutes down the road, and this is also This is.
Are they from Utah?
No, they're not from Utah. They're from. This one's from Germany.
Where'd you get this from?
This is 5. This is nothing. This
Where'd
is for
you
my
get these
beer
from?
league that I joined at work.
Oh.
So I have to drink these and then rate them, and then we'll go into work tomorrow and be like, "Hey, this is what we think of said beers and who wins."
It's literally your homework.
One sip.
Everyone knows the rules.
Oh, that is delightful.
Well,
That's
it's
good.
German.
Okay. That's a great way to start the show off.
Yeah, great way. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back. I'm not prepared. Hold on.
Episode number 35.
No, I thought last week was 35.
No, I thought last week was 34.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a roll. That's 2 weeks in a row.
That is 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, episode 35. Oh, and I did not change.
3-5.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
As always, I'm Casey. That is Owen. I always point this way. Because, like, on my computer, you're this way.
Yeah, well, on my computer, you're this
But
way.
you're this way.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on the right side of this. Like, I'm looking at the screen. I'm on the right,
Yes, you are.
and you're on the left for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it is for you?
Yes.
Oh.
So when I point...
Here, can you see it in my glasses?
But I have to point to the left for it to show on the right on the computer screen. All right, that's all today's episode. Thank you for learning your left and right with us. See ya. What are you doing?
Oh, you can kind of see it in my glasses for anybody watching on YouTube, which we have people watching on YouTube now.
Mm-hmm. But yes, so as always, like I said, I'm Casey, that's Owen. This week we're just going to do our meme of the week, and then we're going to recap Brazil. Next week we'll go all into Vegas. Since, it's Vegas. It's already ramping up.
It's Vegas.
Which you have to read the article Mark posted on how the weather is going to play into Vegas since they're racing at night and it's the desert. It'll be cold.
It's going to be
So,
cold.
and the tires and the track. So you have to, it is a good article to read, but we'll talk about that next week. But as always, starting off with meme of the week. Now, if anyone watched the Brazil GP,
You all
know what
have
happened.
to say that. If anybody watched the formation lap,
yeah, if anyone watched the formation lap to turn 5 and 6, you know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to you first.
are you
Owen.
going
Yeah.
This doesn't even need words. I guess for our
No.
audio listeners, it does. So Ferrari put out their pre-race picture, their pre-race, Instagram photo. Everybody's doing like comic book style.
Yeah,
photos
which was
this year.
then deleted.
Yes, which I love these photos. I think they're great, but I especially love when they create moments like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for instance, the Ferrari picture was the Charles Leclerc car driving on some vines on a tree, and it's very green. It's very floral. It looks good. Like, it looks really good, the photo. And then, like we said, for anybody who watched the formation lap of the Brazil GP knows that Charles Leclerc crashed on the first lap. He lost the hydraulics.
Yeah.
He lost the rear of the car. It just spun out from him. He slammed into a wall. Because he got slammed into a wall, he actually drove off. He drove away from it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's tried to... I was going to talk about this later. He tried to restart the car, but the same issue happened again. So that's why he ended up not driving much farther.
So, so he tried to drive away. He pulled off on the track, and then the car was lifted off of the track and then into the grassy area next to the track. And it literally recreates this image, but it's so funny because it's the contrast of the car both in grassy areas. One is of the car speeding and going really fast, and the other one is when it just broke on the formation lap. And it's so humorous. And there's all the crew around it, like the maintenance crew around it and everything. Sidebar, the maintenance crew also taking a picture with his damaged car. Fucking hilarious as well. I commend the crew for doing that, because that is just, they saw an opportunity to do a funny thing
and they took it.
They absolutely.
And I just want to, was he already back in the garage at this point, Charles Leclerc, or did he watch them take the group photo?
No, you had to watch them take the group photo. That man was so long.
He wasn't actually that long. He was back in the garage by the red flag.
But
there's literally a meme. It looks like he's crying, taking the picture with the group photo.
That's probably how it is, actually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is my meme of the week. There was just no way I could go with anything else. This was it. I absolutely love it. Sidebar, going into what conversation we just had. Las Vegas weather. I just went to weather.com and pulled up their 10-day forecast. Mm-hmm. By no means a sponsorship for weather.com. So Friday the 17th at night is 44 degrees.
And that'll be quali. Oh!
44 degrees.
Because everything's a day early.
Saturday, actually, I don't even know why I'm going to go one by one. All 3 nights at night are supposed to be 44 degrees. Now, I'm pretty sure they categorize nighttime as sunset to midnight. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't account for morning time, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, but if the race is... Oh, no, their one session is literally 12 a.m., I think, out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Unless we're just being stupid and not accounting for time difference, which there's a possibility of that. But
no, let me go to the...
But yeah, right now, 44 degrees. So you're just 10 degrees above freezing.
It's like what it is right now here.
Yeah.
That
I was really hoping you were right on the money, and it was actually 44 degrees here.
Well, I looked at the thermostat in my apartment, and it's not 44 degrees in here. So, yeah, they're qualifying and practice 2 are 12 to 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's brutal. Right, but that's 12 to 1 a.m. for us, right?
No, that's track time. It's 3 to 4 a.m. for us.
Oh.
The race is at 1 a.m. for us.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but we'll get into that more next week. The article is a good read, though. I recommend you read it.
Definitely, weather will definitely play effect into that, especially that kind of chilly. And at night, when there's no sun out, a little bit of wind, it's probably going to be around 40s, 35, 40, somewhere in there.
And especially in the long straights,
mm-hmm.
It's going to give a lot of data to Pirelli. Those first 3 practice sessions are going to be critical.
Oh, yeah.
Especially practice 2, because it'll be the same time as quali the next day. So it'll be crucial.
Yeah, huge.
So compared to where they were in Qatar a few weeks ago, when they literally were all passing out in the car because it was so hot.
Yeah.
So they're going to be freezing.
Parkas in the cars now as they're driving.
Charles Leclerc and his Mediterranean blood is not going to be used to it, because he's literally
he's
his Monaco blood. Yeah, they're going to be freezing. Okay, my meme of the week is also Charles Leclerc. So this is when he was running up the hill. Wait, let me move the banner. So it says, "I'm going on an adventure," from Lord of the Rings. Yes, I mean I could post every shot of him in this instance. There's literally another shot of him up by like the barrier on the hill, and it looks like he's knocking on it to be like let through. He legit went on an adventure.
He was, oh my God.
It's so funny. But it's also like it just looks so funny. Like he literally was trying to get the car back on because he thought he could continue, and then yeah, he went through probably 12 ranges of emotion in this instance right here. But
I'm sure he was so mad.
Yeah. So that's my meme of the week. But next, I already showed you this. This is not my meme of the week.
I have another meme. I have 2 memes.
This reshare your screen. This picture.
This is horrifying.
But it's like the prettiest picture I've ever seen. So I've tweeted it. I posted it on Threads. Mark even retweeted it. I'm trying to figure out who took this photo because it is just insane. Because okay, so for the people just listening, it's a picture from Quali of Charles Leclerc on the one turn. It looks like what's the name? I'm trying to like a horseshoe corner turn or whatever. It's during Q3 most likely when that storm started to roll in, and we've all seen the pictures. It turned into a night race in about 2 seconds. People are literally, there's a mashup, there's an edit right now. Charles Leclerc actually liked it from his sunset lap last year from Coda, and then it goes into Skyfall music, and it goes right into Max Verstappen's storm lap from this qualifying, and it's so good.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you. But yeah, this picture, you just see the clouds, literally the storm, like the world looks like it's going to end over here on the one side of the picture. If I could print it out and frame it, I would. But yeah, that's obviously not my meme of the week, but I just was in love with that picture. If I could find out who took it, I will, because they deserve all the kudos in the world. It's so good.
Big credit to the people person who took that picture, whoever you are.
Yeah. There was even pictures from, I think it was the same spot.
Let's get him on the show.
And it was, I would love to. And it was qualifying, the sky's black. Looks photoshopped, the sky's black. It's the next day, during the sprint race or sprint shootout, the sky looks like the Toy Story sky. Like perfect blue sky with white clouds. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Of course.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. All right, let me scroll back up. I was updating our. Did you want to reshare your screen, or do you have another meme?
I don't have to share my screen. I just want to talk about the absolute joke and luck that I had trying to catch the 1 half-hour block that I was trying to watch of this race.
And it was a red flag.
It started at 10, and I was boarding a flight at 10:30, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, sweet, half an hour, I'm on airport Wi-Fi, I can watch this race. Like, fantastic. Of course, we get Charles crashing, which, didn't ruin it, but, definitely slowed things down.
And then that start.
And then right off the bat, we get, and we can kind of just segue.
Go right into it, yeah. Because we can start talking about these 3 teams these 2 teams since it works for them.
Yeah. The start of the race is just absolute fucking chaos because you have K-Mag going into Alex Albon.
No, it was Hulkenberg's the reason. Hulkenberg went into Alex Albon.
Yes.
Alex Albon then went into K-Mag, and they just both spun out.
They both spun out. Albon's car was demolished.
Destroyed.
So, yeah. So, the half an hour that I had that I thought I was going to be able to watch this race was just completely kaput. And then, of course, the better joke is we're sitting there. I'm still watching. It's 10:25. I'm like, I'm not getting this race at all. The little announcement comes up at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, we're going to restart the session at 14:31. And I'm like, of course, 1 fucking minute after I board the plane, they're restarting the race. But I will say,
but talk about
There were two
Yeah.
guys on the plane as we were getting on that I got kind of lucky. I didn't see much because he's watching on his phone, but we're boarding the plane. I get stopped in the aisle and I'm just like looking around. You know, it's like really awkward because it's like you're standing there in the middle of the plane aisle and there's people just left and right of you, like literally this far from you. And I look down and the one dude's watching the race on his phone. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like doing this, like creeping over his shoulder to try to watch a little bit. And then we start walking again. We walk a little bit further down. And as I'm walking down, there's another dude on the plane watching the race. So just thought it was cool because it was nice to see because it was like, obviously you talk about Formula One growing in America and being in Utah and seeing two people on the same plane watching the race was pretty cool to see.
She's been like, yo, who you pulling for? Well, you would have saw the start and you would have seen Lando Norris keep under a second behind Max at the beginning. But before we get into specific teams, we have to. I know you didn't probably watch the full race, right? You probably watched the race recap.
No, and then I watched the last 10 laps between.
Yeah, because I told you to watch
and Alonso. Because
you'll get.
It was insane, so I was like, I gotta watch at least the last 10 laps.
Yeah, it was wild. Okay, well I'll then go off the TV direction. The international feed, I'm sure you've seen people complaining. The international feed of this race was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And now we just suffered through TBS and the Phillies in the playoffs. That was bad. This was worse. This was worse. So they're literally, the race restarts after the first start, the red flag. The race restarts. Right. Lando Norris gets a brilliant start because he was then in P2 because Charles Leclerc obviously was out.
Yeah.
Lando Norris gets a brilliant start. He's so close to Max Verstappen for like a good 3 laps. He was under a second. He could have overtaken him. It's Brazil. What do they do? Show us a replay. Literally, you had Martin Brundle go, oh, well, I'm paying attention to Lando because he is still like a second or under a second behind. He's like, I'm paying attention. And this is before the end of the race. Because Perez and Alonso for almost the entire race were just going back and forth, like before pit stops and stuff. Alonso or Perez are almost there. They are going to overtake. What do they go? Shows us Pierre Gasly overtake Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. I was like, what is happening? And then there was a random shot they went to, like from one of the helicopters, but it wasn't showing the track. It was showing the crowd. And I'm like, what? I was like, what is... And then I did not need to see Max Verstappen win another race. Okay, we got it. He was in the lead. I was like, okay, bye. When you saw the gap between Max and Lando compared to Perez and Alonso, you knew they were winning. There was no chance. They had a boring race up there. Max said he literally almost went off at a turn because he was watching the Alonso and Perez battle on the big screens. He got distracted and he almost went off. So, I didn't need to watch Max Verstappen win the race. I didn't need to watch him cross the line. When they cut away as Alonso and Perez are on the...
Somebody's calling me for work. Hold on.
Okay. Pause. Sorry, everyone. He's on call, people. This is what happens. Okay, I will continue. As I was saying, I don't need to see Max Verstappen cross the finish line. Doesn't need to happen. Show me Alonso and Perez, who are battling it out on the last lap. That's what I want to see. I don't care about Max Verstappen crossing the finish line. He probably didn't care if we saw him crossing the finish line. Show me this battle. Okay? Thank you. We'll wait for Owen. When he gets a work call in the middle, this is what happens. Okay, hopefully that works. I'll text Kyle.
Sorry about that.
Well, I kept going. So I was saying, right before he went off, I was saying how we didn't need to watch Max Verstappen cross the finish line. I don't even think Max Verstappen would have cared if we saw him cross the finish line or not, because we would have wanted to see the Alonso and Perez battle that was going on for the full last lap. That's what I was there for. That's what I wanted to watch. But yes, the TV direction. And I thought it was just the international feed, but I think it was I think it was also Sky. I think it was the F1 TV in general.
So I did just pull up the feed because I really do want to see this. Let's see, right? Okay, there's lights out.
The second one or the first one?
Lando had a great jump.
Lando had an insane start, but that Red Bull, I feel like they made an upgrade recently that made that Red Bull jump off the starting line so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, because Max is...
Because I feel like that was I think that was their only downfall. Because, I mean, how was Lando... I think when Lando overtook him at the beginning of Silverstone...
Yeah, this is a good... This is a good start right now, but they haven't played the replay yet.
Maybe it wasn't... Lando kept that gap pretty close for a while.
I mean,
there was literally...
They're not even done the first lap yet, so...
Yeah, I think he was like one of the first 2 or 3 laps, but when he cuts out, when they show a freaking replay, but I think they would show the same footage between F1 TV and the international feed. Wouldn't you think?
The footage that when you like switch over on the F1 TV app, the footage never changed. It's just a commentary of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, they sucked. But yes, besides that being awful, which sucks too because like Brazil overtakes Central. So it makes Brazil so exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, moving on. That was my rant over the coverage. Who do we want to start with first?
Let's start with cut away from everything. Yeah. I mean, let's do Red Bull.
Go down the line.
Yeah, let's just go down the line.
Because we can finish with Red Bull and Aston Martin since that battle was the best of the whole entire race.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, well let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about Ferrari.
Get the rain out of the way first.
I posted on threads this morning like saying good morning, and someone was like, "Are you no more crying over Leclerc?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay right now." I said, "But when we record later, it'll all come back up." So ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all know it was kind of an okay weekend. I mean, Charles Leclerc P2. That was the randomest Q3 though. Charles Leclerc kept saying literally in every interview I saw that it was the wildest and randomest session he's ever had in his entire career.
Yeah.
Because he said during the first 2, the wind was coming from one direction, and then like the next one, it was coming from the other direction. And then when that storm came in, the wind was just coming from all over. So he had no clue what he was even doing. So that's when they were like P2. He was like P2.
I mean, so good.
Yeah. But yes, then we know what happened during the race. I mean, they were kind of. I forgot it was a sprint weekend. They were okay during the sprint, but they were sacrificing extra sets of tires for the race. So they didn't really care about the sprint, which I was okay with. Once they said what they were doing, I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, you're going to qualify like shit. But yes. And then formation lap, turn 5 and 6, Charles Leclerc loses the hydraulics in his car. Crashes, we all know. We went over this already. Him, because he made it to the media pen pretty quickly, and he literally had to turn to his PR officer and ask what he was allowed to say about what happened to the car. So when you heard that, it sounded like it was going to be something major. And then Fred was also hinting that it was a power unit issue, which when they could have taken a new one and a penalty this weekend, but they said they should be fine in the last 3 races of the season. And then this happens. So apparently this article was posted. I posted on Threads earlier today, and then I deleted it because I think it's more of an opinion piece about what could have actually happened to his car.
Right.
So this one says, and this is like Google translated from Portuguese on Twitter or X. So it says, after 5 turns during the formation lap, the electronic self-protection system detected a completely abnormal value and shut everything down. If this had not happened, if the engine had not been immediately shut down by the system, it would have exploded a few meters later. So they're saying that if that engine shut it down, it was just like a safe valve. Because if not... But I haven't really seen anyone else talk about this. That's why I think it's literally just like, this is what if could have happened or what they're thinking is happening, because Ferrari's already said that they're not going to need a new power unit for next week. So I don't know.
Can you say the name of the thing again? The electronic protection system?
Yeah, electronic protection system. Hold on. Let me go back.
The electronic protection system. What?
The electronic self-protection system.
Self-protection system.
Mm-hmm. But again, that news, it's also like roughly translated through Google Translate. So
right.
But yes, so if it could have been worse, I have a feeling. I feel like it could have been really
Googling,
bad.
I just found an article on motorsport.com, and Charles says, I went into the corner, I lost power steering first, and then the engine cut off for safety reasons. And then the rear wheel locked up, and that made me spin. So yeah, I guess I guess the car shut off for safety reasons, and
that's what, then he tried turning it back on and pulling away, and that's when he only went like a few meters. I think he literally went to turn 6, and it shut itself down again. So
something was critically wrong with that car, and one of the systems in there was working correctly, and saved him from God knows what.
Yeah. That's what the article, when it translates, makes it seem like the car was going to explode. But when you like really translate it, someone pointed out to me on Threads, the engine alone would have just like caught on fire.
Caught fire.
It's like that opinion piece makes it seem like it would be Romain Grosjean when his car blew up. But I don't think it would have been to that extreme, but it could have been pretty nasty if it went out in the middle of the race and he stopped in the middle of the track and someone crashed into him. But then there's Carlos Sainz. He's also over the car. His radio message literally after Charles Leclerc DNF'd was, can we throw this clutch away? And they're like, just concentrate on your race.
Yeah.
Just concentrate.
Which it's never a good look when your driver's asking if we can throw a piece of the car away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is just so bad.
Yeah. No, so now they're teasing special stuff for next weekend. I'm not thrilled, but I think they're going to have a special race suit and stuff and everything. And people, if you go read the comments on Instagram, their caption is, are you ready? Are you ready, Tifosi? People are like, ready for the season to end? Ready for you to throw the car away? Ready for you to give them a competitive car? Like, no one's carrying them.
Ferrari is just setting the Tifosi up to fucking roast them on that one. Absolutely.
Well, they also tweeted this morning the red and white circles. Like, it was like red and white, red and white, red and white, red and white. Like, a bunch of them. Do you know whose flag is red and white? Charles Leclerc's. So people immediately went to a contract extension announcement, and then a reporter's like, "No, this is for special merch." They literally, people were like, "Social media team, do you have a brain at all? Because why would you tweet that when we're all thinking
engagement did they get on that post though?
A ton, but it wasn't good engagement. People were roasting them. Yeah, but whatever. I made a mock-up of the hockey jersey that we should be getting. I may have DM'd it to Puma on Instagram. So let's just
Look at us making big moves, talking to Puma now.
Yeah. I said, this is what you should be doing since you made a theme for the first 2 US races. Continue it. I literally said, and hockey makes sense for Vegas since the Golden Knights just won the Stanley Cup last season. There you go.
If you're going to do a hockey jersey in any sort of like launch race, it's either going to be Montreal or some city in the United States. Austin doesn't really make sense.
Miami doesn't make sense.
Doesn't really make sense. Your best opportunity right now is, you're right, Las Vegas, because last year the Vegas Golden Knights were the winners of the Stanley Cup. So it's like it's a good launch date.
No, I could have done like the whole like product development research for them and given them numbers. Like it's clear as day. But yes, regardless, Ferrari
insta buy.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I literally messaged Puma. I said I would spend. I don't even care how much money I would spend on this. Like literally what I would right away. No questions asked. I would buy that.
Question.
Yeah. But yes, so Ferrari was Ferrari. Charles Leclerc was out, and he was seen at the airport right after the race, so he said, "See ya." But yes,
Vegas, so I can prep for my 12 a.m. FP2.
He was. I think there was a picture today with a fan that saw him in LA, so he's still in America. He's just in California. Right. But yes, moving on to another team that was awful this weekend, Mercedes.
Yeah.
Really they look like Ferrari. They look like Ferrari.
They just, well, it's funny because, like, they really, like, they did nothing. Like,
no, the minute, because we had to see it, the minute Pierre Gasly overtook Lewis Hamilton, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's bad. I mean, they finished. Russell didn't finish, but Lewis finished 8th. So like he gets points, but like you got
barely any.
You got past. There's a 6-second gap between Gasly and Lewis. That should not
in the Alpine.
Yeah. That should not be happening. And then there's 7 more seconds, and you have Yuki right behind you in an AlphaTauri.
Mm-hmm.
That should not be happening for Mercedes. And I mean, Toto, I thought I read somewhere that Toto pretty much was like something was fundamentally wrong with the car this weekend, and that's why we were going so slow.
It was like not working. It wasn't like whatever they were trying to do was just not working for them. However, they set the car up. And I forgot, I just looked it up. So it says George Russell retired with high and worsening power unit oil temperature. And it was at risk of being an imminent failure. So literally the car, the oil was too hot. And
another
it was
car waiting to explode.
Yeah. And George Russell has already burst into flames earlier this season. So don't need to do it again. That feels like forever ago.
Wow. Holy shit.
But yeah, it was not a good weekend for them. George Russell did receive a penalty. Mark did have an article on this one. I was reading this earlier because I forgot. So this is the impeding in the pit lane. This was also the Alpine boys both got this. We've seen it the past few weekends, but no penalty has been given. This weekend, all 3 were given 2-place grid penalties for the race. So the pit lane, if you have room on the left, you can get over and go around the car that's exiting the pit lane. In the pit straight, like once you're away from the garages. If you can get around on the left, you can. So Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and George Russell were penalized for impeding because they didn't leave enough room, or they were going too slow. Like, they were just going too slow and holding everyone up. But people were criticizing it because you're allowed to leave the gap to, like, get enough space to then go right out onto track, but it wasn't. Yeah, but they just didn't leave enough room to get out. But yeah, so George Russell, 2-place grid penalty. He was kind of annoying. He was kind of annoyed on the radio also during the race because he wanted to switch with Hamilton pretty early on because Hamilton was already struggling with the tires, and they didn't. And then when George Russell was passed by Carlos Sainz, then they were like, "Oh yeah, we should have done that."
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I don't think anything else with Mercedes because they weren't really noticeable in the sprint either.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like this whole weekend, they were kind of just in the background, you know, like never doing anything prominent, no crazy overtakes, no standout like moves or anything, or like even like a close race between what is it?
Alonso and Perez.
Like nothing to the degree of like, wow, this is fun to watch. Like,
I mean, George Russell after said, like, because it was a year ago he won his first one, and how different it was a year later. Like, how can they go from their best race of the season to a year later the same location and it's the worst race of the season? Yeah, they were not good. But when you were watching them get overtaken, it literally was like watching the Red Bull overtake the Ferrari or the McLaren overtake the Ferrari because it was so easy for every other car.
Yeah.
They were not even trying to hold anyone back.
Which that does go back to like your point of why do we need to see an overtake of Gasly and like Pierre overtaking Lewis when it's been easy for them to overtake Mercedes all day, and you have such a good race for second, third going on between Perez and Alonso, you know?
Yeah. No, it was pointless. But yeah, nothing else really for Mercedes. We'll finish with those two last. Like we said, Williams, obviously, I saw a TikTok and it was like when your favorite's Alex, you become a Logan Sargent's #1 fan because they were like Alex Albon and then he's Alex. They were like, "Come on, Logan, come on." I mean, the fight between Williams and AlphaTauri is close. That is the fight for a place in constructors.
Yeah,
points wise. And with how well, it's kind of good that we're there right here. It's kind of good with how good AlphaTauri's been looking between Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki. And you have Alex Albon carrying Williams.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right
his
now,
car
7-point spread.
Yeah. And who's in front?
Williams. Williams has 28 points. AlphaTauri has 21. So
yeah, that's close.
mean, that's very, very close.
Yeah, that DNF for Alex was not. I mean, wasn't his fault. Wasn't anyone's fault. I really don't think that crash at the beginning, but his car was a mess. Alex Albon's. But Logan, I don't think Logan scored any points, but he was close. I think he was 1 place away from a point.
Logan.
Yes, he was 11th. He finished behind Ocon. So he was right there for points.
He's close, yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
so, I mean, when you have 6 cars that retire.
yeah, more than like a quarter of the field didn't finish.
Yeah.
I wish I could see the times. It just says 1 lap since he got lapped, but yeah.
It was awful at one point before they retired George Russell. He was going to be lapped. That's how far ahead Max and Lando were.
They were cruising. I mean, but
they were cruising.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then AlphaTauri, great weekend for them. Yuki looks insane. He looks great, Yuki.
He's driving like a madman.
He looks good. He had a radio moment this weekend, did he not? Or was that 2 weekends ago?
He had something 2 weeks ago where he was very pissed
In Mexico?
off. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it was 2 weekends ago. But yeah, and then obviously Daniel Ricciardo received damage from the crash. I put that clip in the highlight video I made. The wheel from someone's car is in the air and literally bounces off of his rear wing and rolls away. Damages the rear wing. But the red flag worked in favor for both Daniel Ricciardo and Oscar Piastri. They brought their car back, fixed the rear wing for Daniel Ricciardo, and he went back out. But the issue was they said they never did a full lap. So they were already, when they restarted, they were a lap behind. Because I think they might have gone off and gone right into the pit lane. But everyone else went straight through because it was lap 3 by the red flag. Yeah. So everyone else kept going through, so they were already a lap behind. And then any cars that got worked on during the red flag had to start in the pit lane because it was like during the race. But yeah, I mean, they caught up. I don't think maybe they were lapped, but they weren't like double lapped by the time they finished. They didn't make up any places, Daniel Ricciardo and Oscar Piastri. But yeah. Alfa Romeo, I never have anything to say about Alfa Romeo.
Listen, the thing with Alfa Romeo is the only thing that we talked about them recently with is their double Q3 performance. What was that, last week? Mexico?
Yeah, from when we did a live.
Yeah, when we did the live stream for qualifying, they were double Q3, which is great.
They were 9th and 10th.
They were 9th and 10th. Kind of what you expect with them getting into a Q3. But ever since then, they've just kind of like disappeared. I mean, you could say that there's definitely a fight between them and AlphaTauri because AlphaTauri's sitting at 21 points, they're sitting at 16. So it's like, there's definitely like Alfa Romeo could certainly just go on a tear for these last 3 races, and finish 8th, even 7th. But like that's the best they're gonna do because in 6th is Alpine with 108 points. So it's like at best they're gonna do 7th. I don't know off the top of my head where that compares to last year's finish for them.
For Alpha?
Yeah. So it's just like I guess actually I could probably pull it up, but
that's what I'm doing right now.
2022 teams.
They were 6th.
They were 6th.
Oh,
all right. So they're already.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Yeah, 6th. Okay. The way before I clicked in, it made it seem like Ferrari finished behind them, and I knew that was not real true. That's I was like, hold on. Yeah, so they finished 6th.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Yeah, I mean,
they didn't qualify well. They were both out during Q1. And they started well for the sprint race, but they fell back.
Right.
They both... Hold on. Yes, okay. There's something to say. They were a double DNF. During the race.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. They were a double DNF. I'm stupid. Because they were having power unit issues. The Ferrari engine...
There it is.
Which that's when people didn't know if Charles Leclerc was out due to a power unit issue because people were like, there's 3 out of the 4 cars on track DNF'd that have the Ferrari power engine. So yeah, I totally forgot. But yes, they were the first 2 because Joe went first. He DNF'd, and then a few laps later, Valtteri Bottas DNF'd. Yeah. But yes, so there was something to say about Alfa Romeo. They were double DNF. And then K-Mag, or for Haas, obviously K-Mag crashed. Hülkenberg started it. But Hülkenberg was able to continue. He didn't get anything fixed, I don't think, during the red flag. Maybe he did. But I can't remember.
I don't know, to be honest with you. The video of the crash is wild to see Albon pinned down between the two of them. And then...
Oh, sorry. The picture of Alex Albon's car, the whole back is like shredded to pieces.
Oh my God, yeah. It's destroyed. It is absolutely just torn apart. I mean, it was a pretty vicious crash. You know, I mean, thank God he had some time to kind of spin out and slow down his momentum and everything. But
Yeah, here it says, so Alex Albon started behind both Nico and Kevin Magnussen, but he got a better start off of the starting line. So it said he pulled ahead, and the German was squeezed on the inside by his teammate K-Mag. Hulkenberg's right front wheel tapped Albon's left rear tire, sending Alex Albon into a spin which collected Magnussen. Albon took the biggest hit as he and Magnussen crashed into the barriers. Both walked away unhurt.
right.
Hulkenberg made it back around but needed repairs after the incident. I didn't say what he needed repairs on, but he needed obviously some repairs. I mean, maybe his... What did I say it was? Hulkenberg's front wheel tapped. So maybe it was his front wing. Maybe they needed to just fix the front.
Tapped Alex's back left.
So maybe they just needed to fix the front tire and then maybe that front wing. But,
right.
But yeah. And the best part of it was Günther Steiner was on the pit wall this weekend. Your fave was on the pit wall.
Saw that.
But he wasn't even pissed. He was like, he was like, I don't think that's anyone's fault. He wasn't annoyed, so good things there. And then Alpine. Pierre and Esteban both received a penalty for being...
Lewis, we know that.
Oh, yeah, true. But yeah, then they also both received a grid penalty, like we explained earlier, for impeding in the pit lane. Esteban Ocon finished the race, though. Round of applause. He did not retire early.
From a man who was on podium earlier this year.
Mm-hmm. In Monaco, of all places.
In Monaco, of all places. We're now clapping for him
to finish a race. Oh, Pierre Gasly's helmet was so cute, though. I don't know if you saw pictures of it. So apparently during the summer, him and his friend like joked around and he was like, I'm going to design a helmet for you. But he actually did it. So it had like signatures from all of Pierre's like loved ones, family, friends, like with little messages. Like Charles Leclerc was actually like, he wrote something on there. And then the guy who made it literally wrote like something about, will you be their baby's like godfather? So I was like, okay, that's adorable that they asked him to be his godfather through the helmet. Mm-hmm.
That's so
yeah,
good.
It was really cute. Because at first when I saw a picture of it, I was like, he wasn't the one of the ones I posted, so I was very confused. But
right, yeah,
it was until later. But yeah, I thought that was a cool personal touch helmet.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Which before we get into the last two, I am very excited for. I know there's gonna be some sick helmets for Vegas, and there's always good helmets for the last race of the year. So it's gonna be a lot. Vegas
is definitely. Don't get me wrong. As chaotic as we've seen the preparation and everything for this race has been, which doesn't really not matter, but like concern the drivers, and it's not like it's the driver's fault that the preparing has been so good or so poor. The helmets and everything are going to
they won't disappoint.
Sick. They're going to be so good. I would love to see somebody with maybe a Vegas Golden Knights helmet, just because. But
trying to see, I could see happen. I could see Valtteri Bottas, but that's not really. He always does something funny this season, but I know he's talked about hockey before.
Right?
Maybe K-Mag. Trying to see like people that have ties to hockey if they know anyone on the team. But yeah, they're gonna be sick. The special helmets. I know it. Whoa. Did like the screens for us just go out real quick for 2 seconds?
No, I didn't see anything.
Oh, okay. It was loading. They both went black for like a very split second. But yes, moving on to Red Bull and Aston Martin. Oh, we didn't talk about McLaren.
What?
We didn't talk about McLaren.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I also muted because I was opening my second beer
That's
out
what
to try. I didn't want to get the crisp pop.
Can you give us a sip of this one?
Yeah.
First sip.
First sip.
You can say it's good.
Okay, these taste exactly alike.
You needed a palate cleanser. You should have drank some water in between. Drink some water. Redo. This is your commercial break, people. Oh my god.
All right. Palate is cleansed. Here we go.
I would hope.
2 sips.
2 sips. Everyone knows the deal. They still taste the same.
Still tastes exactly the same. Oh, God. I don't know. All right. Well, regardless, going back to the topic on hand, McLaren. Simultaneously, very good race and very poor race. It sucks for Piastri to have been riding this wave of doing so well and the team doing so well and kind of having this back and forth with Lando on just finishing higher or competing and all this stuff to then finish 14th. It sucks to see. You hate to see it. But what I'm really hoping, and really the only kind of thing that I can take away from Oscar's race, is I'm really hoping he is good at just kind of like dumping it, throwing it aside, and just moving on.
Oh, I feel like he strikes me as someone that should have a good mindset like that.
That's what I'm hoping. Like, I'm hoping it's not like now, it's 2 days later. I'm hoping it's not just like killing his mind. He's just like, I got 14th. I've been doing so well lately, blah, 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 this stuff. Wipe it from your mind. You're going onto a new track for everybody next week. It's the perfect track and perfect race just to kind of start
to get it back.
Yeah, start anew again, get it back. Just go in there. Everybody's doing this track. Everybody has the same experience on this track that you do. That's it. So that's all I can really say about Oscar.
And it wasn't an awful race because he received damage as of like a result of the crash. He wasn't involved in the crash, and they were able to repair his car. He was the big question mark. They didn't know if they were, because I think he had more damage than Daniel Ricciardo did. So they didn't know if they were able to fix it and come back, but they did. And then same thing. Him and Ricciardo just drove together in the back, a lap behind. But yeah, it wasn't an awful race for Oscar. I don't even think it was an awful weekend for Oscar. He was struggling during qualifying. He went off and caused the yellow flag, and then it came back.
Qualifying did not look Q1, I think, for him, did not look good.
Q1 didn't look good for either of them.
No. They were both giving me a little bit of a fright during Q1. But, yeah, Q1 for Oscar did not look really good. I was able to watch qualifying, which I was happy about. But he came back out with Q2 kind of with a vengeance and got into Q3, which was good. So happy about that and everything. Yeah, like you said, it's not really his fault. Everything that happened, you can see him on the one angle in the crash in the beginning. You can see the car get bumped and then jerk a little bit. And like you said, they fixed his car during the red flag. They threw him back out there. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm really hoping I'm really hoping it's not stewing on his mind, and it's just sitting there being toxic to him leading up to Vegas. I hope he takes this weekend coming up as a break, just kind of pulls away, relaxes a bit. Next weekend, locks back in, and is the Oscar Piastri we've known and seen to be deserving of Rookie of the Year, Now,
and so they can continue gaining points on Aston Martin.
Correct.
Considering the weekend they had.
Now, Lando, on the other hand, great race.
Great sprint.
Go ahead.
He was on pole for sprint.
Just overall, the weekend we've
expect from him.
we've come to expect from Lando. I mean, you finish qualifying, what is it, 7th? You're P7 to start the race.
And you finish
P2. And not only do you finish P2, but you get P2 right off the bat, right off the start, the first start.
You
get P2.
P2 by the red flag.
And then you hold it for the entire 71 laps that you're racing. So it's just
and you're fighting Max for a little bit.
And you're fighting Max for a little bit. It's just, like you said, it's the weekend we've come to expect from him. I am really, really excited for him for the next two, three races to come, because he is fucking nipping at Fernando Alonso. He is right there.
Oh yeah, he's right there.
Literally 3 points away from him.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy shit. Like
you just need a weekend. You hope this weekend's a one-off for Aston Martin, and it goes back to normal, because he will have that. People are also. Someone said today, like, they just want Lando to win. Clearly, like, and if he won in Vegas, I said he would set the Las Vegas Strip on fire. He would be unstoppable.
People, he's already starting to develop this pattern of, I'm a very good driver. I've just been really unlucky. That's why I haven't won yet. And people are just like, it's like building this momentum of like every race. People are like, I hope this is the one for Lando. Like, I hope
it's coming so soon. I mean, if it's not, obviously there's 2 races left, but it's next season. It's 100% next season.
Yeah.
I also saw it was after sprint qualifying, and he was in an interview, and he just seemed like he did seem annoyed. Every interview I saw of him, he like didn't seem like his normal self. And literally, this Sky Sports girl, like, I'm drawing a blank of her name. I think it was Naomi Schiff, or not Naomi Schiff. I can't remember who it was, but she literally said, she's like, you're not the Lando we all know and love. She was like, she's like, we all see it. She was like, why are you being, because he's so hard on himself. And we were having a discussion about it on the threads. I think because someone was like, it looks like he was happier when the car sucked. Like, but people were saying, because now he knows he can do it. With this car, he knows he can do it. And each weekend, he's not P1 or he's not taking first of that race. He's getting annoyed because he knows the car's finally working for him.
Yes.
He's able to do it. So it's just like every time he's not doing it, it's just, it's not knocking on his confidence, but it's just, he's not.
It's a little bit.
He's just annoyed.
Is building every single time, and that's completely fair. You can be the happiest, most optimistic, hopeful person on earth, but if you like you're saying, if you know you can do it, and you can get to that P1 spot, and you're just consistently P2, P3, P2, P3, like just boom, 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 boom. Every week it's gonna be like, God damn it, I didn't do it. God damn it, like all this stuff, and
so
it's
close.
Build and build and build. So we're at the point where it's a little bit visible, and people are gonna start being like, whoa, like what's wrong? And he's just gonna be like, I'm tired of not winning. Like
it's so close for him.
He's so close.
So close.
He's
literally in. It's the fact that Max flew away at one point and the gap was too much, but it's the fact that he can hold the gap to Max for a certain amount of time. That's the most promising thing, I think, that they can do it. Yes, McLaren, it's coming, Lando. It's coming.
Literally, like if he doesn't get it in these last 2 races, that is the mentality he has to have going into next year. It's just,
all season.
It will happen next year.
And you hope the car starts where they left off. They know what the upgrades work, so they're not having a slow start like they did last season. That they're on the podium from the beginning, so he can get that win early on. At this point, it's McLaren. If next year is not a blowaway year with Red Bull again, it's McLaren in the fight.
Yeah,
for the World Constructors.
McLaren's had enough time now, or at least I think they've had enough time now, where the car has been performing well, where they then have a decent set of data to then carry that over to the next car. And it increases the chances of what you just said, of the car not reverting back to what we saw at the beginning of the season next year. For them to have this whole year of fighting and not, let's spend half the season playing catch up and then the second half of the season absolutely dominating. I'm really praying. It seems likely that you really think about it, they should be good for next year, but Lando is right there on the edge. He can see the win in the future, and he just needs like a little bit more. And I really think that a little bit more is coming next year.
And out of all the people on the grid, I think Max Verstappen wants to have a title fight with Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Those are the two drivers he wants to be in a fight with. Those are the two. 100%.
Absolutely, I want to fight with you guys. Let's make it interesting.
Because he respects both of them. Obviously, he's like one of Lando's best friends, I think. But it will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, McLaren. Wait, before we go on to the last two, Charles Leclerc's radio was more heartbreaking than the Paris radio from last year, the France radio, when he screamed no. Oh. You know what radio I'm talking about? This one, he just goes, last year's radio, when he screams no. This one, he just goes, why am I so fucking unlucky?
Oh.
And he's never, all in time for, he's like, no, I'm not lucky. Like, I'm not unlucky. It's fine. It's whatever. But now, whoever is Charles Leclerc's voodoo doll, give it up.
Yeah, really.
But yes, okay. Moving on to Red Bull and Aston Martin. I mean, Red Bull, we can quickly talk about Max. It was just another dominant performance about Max. Really nothing else you can say.
Nothing really to talk about for Max.
No.
And then the only thing everybody wants to hear about is Perez and a lot, like, this absolute back and forth.
Yeah, but before we even get into them, you have to talk about Lance Stroll being P3.
Oh my God! Yeah, you have to talk about that, because
I mean,
who fucking thought?
I feel like that Paul Rudd meme from Hotline. Like, who would have thought?
I saw.
Not me.
What did I see? It was a meme. It was something on Twitter, and the tag was like Lance Stroll and P3, and the picture was something. It was like, why is there a polar bear in the city or something like that? Like, and I was like, that's fair. Like, I'm sure he had P3 and was like, what do I do? Like,
no, because so when they were giving the interviews after quality in the safety car garage, because it was raining that hard, which we didn't even talk about the damage that happened to the grandstands. I didn't even talk about it during the race or any other part of the weekend, but there was crazy damage from the wind on the grandstands. Roofs were coming off.
I'm sure.
Scaffolding was collapsing. But yeah, so they gave the interviews in the safety car garage. But it was so funny. There was a picture when they go to take like their top 3 picture before they get the Pirelli Tire Award. And it's Charles Leclerc and Max. And Lance is coming over. And the Charles Leclerc and Max both look like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, like, what the hell? Like, you sit here. But yes, Lance Stroll. Great. He did keep. Where did he finish? Can't remember.
I found the picture. I just shared it.
Show me.
Like, this is absolutely it.
Yeah.
What the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? Like,
what the hell is Lance Stroll doing in P3?
In P3. First of all, what the hell is Lance Stroll doing in Q3? First of all, let's just say that. And then, what the hell is he doing in P3 is...
Yeah. Let me put this back. But yes, hold on. Where did he finish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He finished 5th above Carlos Sainz, behind Perez. So, great points weekend for Aston Martin, which they need to continue that fight with McLaren.
Oh my God. They desperately needed that. Desperately needed that.
But yes, moving on to the battle. Fernando Alonso, I said, was driving for all those reporters that were creating those random-ass rumors last week.
I mean...
He literally said during press day on Thursday that he would create consequences for the people that created these rumors. because they were so outrageous. Like, he was pissed. So when he got out there and was setting the fastest lap during their practice, I was like, who the hell is this?
I mean, maybe he just needs like rumors every week then, just to perform well. But I mean,
maybe he enjoyed the Taylor Swift rumor. That's why he was performing so bad. But these rumors lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah, it fucking lit a huge fire under his ass. But I mean, what a fight!
I was like, I couldn't look away. I couldn't even like type out because I was like, they're just going back and forth. Well, Alonso had Perez for a while.
Yeah.
And then Perez was just watching and waiting, did get around. And then Fernando Alonso, that last lap, that last minute overtake. It was so good.
It's so good.
That was the best battle, I think, in my time of watching Formula One. That was the best battle I've ever seen. The best wheel-to-wheel racing.
Oh my God.
That's what F1 is.
And you know what? You know what's good too? I know it's the end of the race. I know there's tons of other cars that they could focus on, and a little bit kind of, opposite of what they did at the start of the race. But I'm happy that the 10 laps were mainly focused on them. You watched those last 10 laps in those two cars, and that's it. That's all you got to watch. And I mean, it was just, like you said, yeah, you have Fernando is just like very clearly ahead of Perez. Perez is like on like the 8/10 kind of second mark on him. So he had DRS, but every time he was using DRS, he wasn't really like catching him. He wasn't catching him enough. And then, yeah, you're right. All of a sudden it was like Checo saw his opening, was like, I want third. I'm going to go around you. And you're like, sweet. You're like, oh, sweet. Yeah, go, like, great, Checo. Good for you. And then Fernando Alonso, like, had, like, I used to say, like, when I, like, in swimming, there would be moments when I would, like, hit the wall and I would see that there's like, especially with the way that I was turning, I could see the guy in the lane next to me. I would say, like, in my head, it'd be like, no, because I would see how close we were, and I would be like, you're not winning this. You're not winning this race. And it was just something small that would just push me to the end, and I would either beat him or not. But in the moment, I'd be like, you're not fucking winning this race. Fernando Alonso had a no moment and was literally just like, nope, you're not doing that. Fuck you. And immediately just whoop right back around him and just carried it home. And that finish, so good.
Did you see the video of George Russell in his post-race interview? Because he was retired at this point in the media pen. He was in the middle. He literally stopped an interview, turned around so he could watch the last lap because he heard people being like, oh my, like he heard the crowd. So he watched the last lap. I mean, Max Verstappen was too. If the fireworks didn't go off, because that shot they show, it's so smoky because of the fireworks from Max crossing the finish line. But I mean, I tweeted out right away. I said, this isn't Fernando Alonso, and it's the three-way tie gift from Cars, where he's sticking his tongue out. Like, I didn't think he got it at first. I was like, oh, that was Perez, because of the angle they showed, it looked like Perez. But then the timing said Fernando Alonso right away. Yeah, no, the most electrifying ending I have ever seen to a race.
It was such a good finish. And I mean, yeah, it was just like I said, the fact that you watched the last 10 laps, just those two, great. Like, I
mean, it's all you watched, the last 10 laps of that race.
I mean, that's the thing, because it was the only thing to watch, really. Like, everything else was kind of wrapped up. Everybody was kind of in spots that you were like, okay,
this is going to be the end. Yeah.
Finish fifth, like, whatever. But yeah, you're watching those two, and it's like, oh, fuck. And it's like, I'm sure F1 TV and F1 in general was just eating the shit out of that, and just like, we love this, but yeah, for a race to finish that close, like, that was nuts.
They were 0.0053.
That's disgusting. Like,
that's how much time was separated.
So close to each other, and
so
it's just like,
and you saw when Fernando's giving an interview at the end in the media pen. Checo interrupts him, and they just, like, hug it out. That's how you know when they're, like, they've been in a sport for so long. Well, yeah, they respect the good battle.
That's such a good thing, because it's like, You're exactly right. Like, they both know in that moment, like, yeah, their minds are thinking, like, I got to do this to get around him, or, oh, I really want to win this race. I can't let him beat me. There's also the side of the brain that they're like, this is a fucking great battle. Like, and they're like, this is awesome because they love the sport. They have watched great battles like this, and now they're taking part in it. And it's just like, yeah, to see, I did see the clip of Checo coming over and hugging Fernando. And I was like, that's so good to see. Cause it's like, they both get it. And they're both like,
they got it.
This was so huge. And this was such a good battle. And I respect the shit out of you for putting up a fight like that. Like,
and I think Fernando even said to him, he was like, can you not stress me out like that anymore? Thank you.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, but when you think about it, it was huge points for both of them. Checo in his fight for second with Hamilton, and then Alonso in his fight above Lando Norris. But yeah, it was insane. And then the pictures that came out after, I think I've posted every angle. There's like random like fan videos. The one fan, like a picture of where they actually started, and it's so hard. Like from their onboard cameras, you can see like the front of Perez's like wing a little bit. That just shows you how much of a lead, the smallest margin lead Fernando Alonso had. It's F1 on Instagram did a carousel post, and they did like all the different angles. They posted it today. If you go and watch it, it's like scroll through. It's a good post to look at. Yeah. But can we talk about? Did you see the picture or the video of the Aston Martin mechanic head first in the seat of one of the cars?
No. Oh yeah, and his legs are up in the air. Yeah, I did see that.
I just want to know, because you know how, like, whenever they show drivers when they're, like, watching on the pit wall or, like, in practice, they always get it's like a delay, but they do end up seeing themselves on the TV coverage, like, on the TV screens, and then they, like, look at it or wave or whatever. I just want to know if the other mechanics in the garage were like, dude, you're going to be a meme. Like, you're already a meme. It's over and done with.
The moment I would expect the guy who's in the cockpit of the car to come out and see that picture and be like, ah, fuck. Like,
it's everywhere. The best is the commentary between, I think it was Crofty and Brundle, and they're like, what do you think he's doing? Like, why is he laying like that?
I did. Yeah, that was like the one thing I saw too. Especially after I got off the plane, I like went on Twitter to look to see who won and whatnot. And I was like, the fuck is this?
It was so good. But yes, I wanted to mention that before we finish. But yeah, no. Besides that, top battle of the season for sure.
Yeah, great battle.
Yeah, absolutely stellar battle. And it was good to see Alonso back on the podium after so long. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if they can keep it up, or do they go back to normal schedule programming for Aston Martin?
There's part of me that would kind of like that, just because of how close the fight is with McLaren. Like, I would like to see them kind of fall back to what we've seen recently, so McLaren can jump ahead. But if they can keep this form and give us more fights like that,
Abu Dhabi's gonna be intense.
Absolutely, I would love that.
And you know when Abu Dhabi falls? Thanksgiving weekend.
What the heck? Really?
Yeah, that Sunday is Abu Dhabi. Thanksgiving weekend. But it's in the morning, I think. But yes.
Yeah, this says 8.
Yeah. But, yeah. Brazil, you never disappoint. I was a range of emotions from that formation lap to the end. Yeah. Mom was in the kitchen. And all she heard me say was, no! She comes running out. She's like, what happened? I'm like, look.
My driver was like, before the race even started.
Couldn't even tell her. I was like, can you just look at the screen? And she's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I was like, he didn't tell me. Oh, wait, I'm going off on back to Red Bull. Apparently, I think there's an article where they listed out, or you can listen to them, the radio messages to Perez during the final fight, because they were giving him instructions literally every second.
Really?
They're like, he's now going to be on your left. Like, go more towards this way on the turn. Yeah, they go back and forth. I had to find it. I saw it, but then I lost it when I was.
Oh, I wonder if doesn't multi-viewer when you watch a cockpit camera, can't you listen into their radios?
Yeah, you hear the radios.
Oh, I should go back and watch those last 10 laps from Perez's view. That'd be so good.
Also, go on Threads, and McLaren posted unheard radio from when
I
Oscar received. Yeah, so it's unheard radio from when Oscar received the damage to what, like, when they're saying it's not even just to Oscar. It's like between the engineers and the pit wall and stuff. So you have to give that a listen to. That one is cool. It is cool, that audio feature on Threads, I have to say. But yes. Anything else you want to add?
No. It's a well-deserved break weekend for a lot of teams. A lot of teams can take the chance to upgrade. Hopefully some teams can figure some stuff out. And
this break coincide with the with the Eagles bye week at the same time?
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
That's brutal.
But yes, like I said, next week we'll have to figure out our schedule. Next week we'll just preview Vegas. We have some fun things hopefully planned for Vegas between the race and the live golf event, which is next Tuesday.
I can't.
So we have to figure out when we record next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I updated our numbers if you would like to.
Can I say it?
What?
Can I say? Oh my God, you had the update.
Yes.
Are you fucking joking?
No.
This is massive news.
Wild. I was speechless yesterday. Legit speechless.
I'll try to be as
cry
brief as I can, but I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. We've passed 1,000 followers on Threads, which is absolutely fucking wild. In the first case, and you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to sound like a broken record because we did this when we passed 500. We hit that milestone. Now we're hitting this milestone. We started this podcast and we both really started watching Formula One really at the beginning of the season. And the fact
you followed it last season, but I got into it in the middle of last season.
I followed it last season, but to the degree of if I caught news of it, I'd be like, oh, I know who those drivers are, stuff like that. This is really my first season of sitting down, watching it, being hooked to it,
taking it all in.
Yeah. So the fact that we've already crossed 1,000 followers on Threads is absolutely fucking bonkers. And it's just a huge thank you to everybody who listens to this show, who watches this show, who talks to us on Threads, who talks to us on Twitter, who talks to us on Instagram. Huge thank you. I mean, I literally it's insane to think that there's 1,000 people who are interested in what Casey, mostly me, a little bit has to say on Threads. It's just wild.
And I posted yesterday on Threads saying we hit 1,000, and I was I said thank you, and people were this is this is such a cool F1 community. Someone's I was on Threads, but then once I found you, she goes, I'm here all the time now. I was this is insane. I was I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. The fact that this is all happening around us is wild, and it's
more.
We cannot wait to keep growing the show and to keep growing this community that we're making on Threads, and
I'm here for it.
We're both here
it's
for it.
It's not going away.
I can't. I literally I don't know what else to say. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say, Casey.
No, it's just and it's it's to the point now. When Charles Leclerc went out in the formation lap, people were I was waiting for your reaction. They just no. Yeah, right. They know you're a McLaren fan. They know I'm a Charles Leclerc Ferrari fan. Someone said last week when they watched it, they're they watched the podcast. They're I feel I know you two, and I was oh, thank you. I was that's what we're kind of trying to aim for. That's what we want. We want to seem we're just two. Obviously, we're two siblings chatting, but we want it to be I don't know. Don't feel like you're being spewed stat after stat because
Yeah.
we don't understand half the stat sometimes as well. So we're all
Right.
learning together. But yeah, no, it's when I was literally refreshing yesterday because we were so close. And when we hit it, I was like, well, I was supposed to tell mom so she could have been our 1000th follower, but it kind of glitched. So when I refreshed, we went up like 5 followers, and I was like, what? Yeah,
It's
I was in shock.
absolutely insane. But yeah, again, thank you to anybody who watches, anybody who listens, anybody who
Yeah.
makes it this far in these episodes. This is an hour and 20 minutes that we've been recording now. That's bonkers to anybody who makes it this far. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate it. Not to do a shameless plug, but like, come join us on Twitter if you're on Twitter.
I went on some friends over on Twitter.
Friends on Twitter. That username is underground_F1. That's a little bit different than our Threads handle, but yes, please go join us on Twitter. Please go follow us and join us on Instagram. Please go follow our main YouTube page where all of our video episodes go out. That is Underground Sports Philadelphia. We know it's very different than obviously F1 Underground or all of our other social media handles. That is just because that's the network that we're a part of. It's a great group of people. Got a plethora of other shows on that channel. Anything anybody wants to listen to, it's pretty much there for them. It's fantastic. They're trying to also grow their page as well. They are doing a great job. We're all doing a great job of growing the page. We're at 647 was the last time I looked at Underground, which was like
I just had it. Hold on.
beginning of this recording. So I could be misremembering, but regardless, again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go follow us on this other channels. Come join us in the conversation. We want to grow this community so badly. And we're so happy for anybody who has already joined us and has given us their time and has talked to us.
And make sure you are following because, like I said, with Vegas coming up, we have some things planned. So you want to make sure you're following us to hear all about it because we are going to be doing stuff, hopefully, with other pages, other shows within the Underground Sports Philadelphia family. So stay tuned. But yeah,
we love you guys. We also have different content ideas coming as well.
Yeah.
We brainstormed a couple different things that we're going to try to iron out details, figure it out. So thanks for hanging out with us. We really
thanks.
We really appreciate it.
And we'll see you next week for Vegas.
Prediction. Yeah.
Vegas, baby.
We're definitely going to talk about the golf a little bit.
Oh yeah, we will. We will.
But yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.